This show was written and performed by Tanya Jones. I had the pleasure of seeing a snippet of this at LAFPI's micro reads for female playwrights, so we can put these stories out there. And what we saw made us come here tonight. So please put your hands together for Tough Brown Leather.
Ring around rosy, pocket full of posy, ashes, ashes, they all fall down. Ring around the rosy, pocket full of posy, ashes, ashes, they all fall down. Dirty slut, whore. Dirty slut, whore. Dirty slut, whore. Fuck! Fuck! I fucked up again! I can't take myself anymore. I got to get out of here. I gotta get out of this body. Let me out. Fuck. Why did you do that? Why can't you stop being a slut? He doesn't want you. No one ever wants you. Why can't you stop? I can't remember a time I didn't love football.
Yeah.
I've been a New York Giants fan since I was 3. And by the time I was 8, I played every chance I could get. I used to play with a group of boys from around the way. And every time I collided with one of them, I'd get this big surge of energy, a sort of tingling through my body, then a sort of lightness, like floating through space. It was the perfect cocktail of adrenaline, endorphins, pain, and pleasure. And I used to hit them as hard as I could. And I liked it. And I liked being hit. Now, sometimes I could see it coming, and I'd brace myself for it. But other times, it would happen so fast, I'd find myself on the ground before I even knew it happened. But I had always been strong enough to take on whoever and whatever came my way. And my bruises, they were badges I wore with pride. Now my father, he didn't mind that I liked watching football, but playing, that was a whole other kind of beast. Girls, they weren't meant to play football. You ain't got the right kind of body for that. Just like when you tried to take a piss, standing up. Your body wasn't made for that. I mean, I don't like you being out there with all the boys. Cause see, if something happens to you, then I might have to go out there and I'm gonna have to shoot one of them. Now why can't you get yourself into dolls or something? That's not fair. How can boys always get to do all the good stuff? Dolls are boring. They don't even do anything. But to me, playing football was the least dangerous thing in the world. It's when I felt most alive and free. But maybe I was different from other girls because none of them ever played with us. But that's the way I liked it. There was just me. Because boys, they had a different kind of feeling that I liked being around. Because they could do or say almost anything they wanted. And it was all okay. They were just being boys. But some of them, if they didn't know me, they'd try to talk shit and think they had to be gentle with me. But once they saw how much I liked knocking the shit out of them, yeah, then they start playing right. Because boys, they don't like getting embarrassed in front of their friends. And getting hit by a girl, that was definitely a high-ranking offense. And I rarely missed. But if you lose focus, mistakes can happen. So I was 9 years old when I was playing in my first hood Super Bowl. It was the battle of the 2 top blocks. And even though I was the youngest on my team, I was the star running back. Now we were down, but we could still win. We were 5 yards from the end zone. It's the last play of the game. So we get into a quick huddle. I'm running the ball. So we get into a pro set formation, and our other back, he's bigger, but he's not as fast. So we have another receiver running down the side slot, crossing in the middle, just in case. So Joe, he snaps the ball to our quarterback Rashid, he tosses it back. And I feel the ball on my fingertips and I pull it in. I gotta protect the ball. And Dre, I see him rushing towards me from the right and in a slot right there, and I'm going to my left. But in that moment, I space out and I start thinking of something else. Now, I don't remember where I am, what I'm supposed to be doing. But I'm back. No, I'm back. But it's too late. I'm already on the ground, and Dre is running in the other direction with the ball. Oh, I got to stop him. I don't want to just stop him. I want to hurt him. I want to rip him apart. I want to humiliate him. The game is over, but it doesn't even matter now. It's personal. I'm running after him as fast as I can, and when I finally catch up to him, I hit him so hard, he flies face first into a nearby student and chips his front tooth. Yeah, while he sits there on the ground holding his bloody mouth, and all the other kids try to help him up, I just stood by and did nothing. Yeah, we didn't win the game that day, but something about watching him bleed left me satisfied. Hey, come over here. What do you want? I couldn't stand Maurice. Maurice was the overgrown foster kid of my grandmother Letty's, my mother's mother. For as long as I can remember, she'd always had some random foster kid in and out of her house. Some people used to think she was some kind of do-gooder, but I knew better. The only reason she took in those kids was for the extra money from the state and free child labor. And Maurice, he was a 17-year-old black man child who'd been in and out of the system most of his life. So basically the kind of kid that people wouldn't want. He was dirty and smelly and rude, but at 6'3" and 220 pounds, he was big and strong. The perfect kind of human workhorse. Now, my grandma Letty, she lived in this old beat-up shack about 80 miles from the city from where we lived. And it was like a country. Oh, I hated going down there. I mean, her house always smelled like mildew and rotten food, imminent death. And there were enough roaches to populate an entire small town. So when I was there, I mostly hung out outside. I mean, there wasn't much to do, but it was better than being in that disgusting house. Hey, I said come over here. I knew he wouldn't leave me alone, so I went over where he was. What do you want? Look, it looked good, don't it? So I look down, and I see his erect penis pointing up at me while he strokes it. And I can't understand why he's doing this, but I knew something just didn't feel right. Ew, that's nasty. I'm telling. I turn to run away, but he grabs my arm and he pulls me back. And he tightens his grip on my wrist and pulls me closer. And I can feel his breath on my face and feel suffocated by the smell of stale milk. Yeah, I want you to kiss it for me. My arm is throbbing and my body is paralyzed. I want to say something, anything, but I can't speak. What happened to my voice? All I could do is manage to shake my head. No. What? You think you're too good for me? You better hurry up and do it before I make you. I try to pull away, but he's much too strong. He pushes me down to the ground, and I can feel the skin on my knees tearing. I'm bleeding, and I try to get up, but he grabs me by my throat and shoves me back down. I'm choking, and he quickly lightens his grip and pushes his penis into my mouth. And I can feel my lips tearing. I close my eyes and wait for it to be over. Then he pulls out, just as he came. See? Yeah. Tastes good, right? Just like candy. I I'm still on the ground as Maurice walks away. I can't let anyone see me like this. I grab the outdoor hose and I rinse myself off, and then I open up my mouth as wide as I could and spray it out. Then I run out into the woods until the sun goes down. When I got back, my parents had yelled at me for staying away for too long without telling anyone where I was going. And then we got into the car and we all went home. And I didn't tell anybody about what happened. I was too ashamed. Plus, I just figured, what's the point anyway? There was nothing to do about it. What was done was done. I've been told I'm really good at sucking dick. One of my ex-boyfriends, when I broke up with him, he even said, "Damn! So you're not gonna suck my dick ever again?" Yeah. Well, I guess I should be. I got my first taste when I was 7 years old. I can't remember a time I wasn't surrounded by sex. By the time I was 8, I knew exactly what it was and how it was done. Now, my brother Jason and I, we used to sneak and watch the Playboy channel at my grandfather's house. Now, I don't think he subscribed to the channel because the picture was always fuzzy and all we could ever make out were the moans and the groans. But the antenna still managed to pick up that. But the people on the Playboy channel, they seemed like they were enjoying themselves, which was kind of confusing for me, given what had happened with Maurice. So I started to have questions like, how is it decided who does it? Do boys just choose? Is it something that girls are just supposed to do? Like an inherent duty? Now my brother, he was about 4 years older than me, so we shared a bedroom until I was 9. And we got into fights every now and then, but for the most part, we were just plotting allies who would help each other execute whatever schemes we came up with. Now, he was pretty handsome, so he was already having sex with a handful of girls, willing girls. And one day, I came home, and I found Jason lying face down, humping a pillow. Ew! What you doing? It's nasty. Oh, what you think? Get out! You look stupid. Why are you doing that by yourself? What you think? Because it feels good. Plus, I gotta practice my stroke. Oh, well, I wanna try it then. Nah, well, I don't think it's the same for girls, you know. Like, you gotta get on top of them. Oh, like on the Playboy channel? Not really. Like, you're supposed to keep your clothes on. And then, you know, if you're a boy, well, you can just rub up against something. But if you're a girl, then somebody has to get on top of you and they're supposed to grind. Okay, that sounds weird, but I'll try it. So I lie down, and Jason lowers himself on top of me. We barely look at each other. It's awkward. And he starts to move up and down, and his breathing gets heavier. And I feel something down there. And I'm curious. Somebody's coming! What the hell is going on in here? Oh! Get away from her! Get! What, Dad? We weren't even doing nothing. Yeah, Dad, he's a boy and I'm a girl. I don't give a damn what you are. Your brother and your sister. Your brother and your sister, you don't do that with each other. You just don't. Well, okay, well, who are you supposed to do it with? You do it with people. Oh, hell no, you don't do it with anybody. Never. Period. In life. But you must have done it since you did that me into a win. Shut your smart ass up and you. If I ever see you touching your sister like that again, I will break your goddamn neck. You hear me? And get your smart ass in the kitchen. Now! So, I avoided going to Grandma Letty's as much as I could. And I usually succeeded. Sometimes I would come up with some kind of school project or and I've been at the library, but there were still times I couldn't get out of it, like on a birthday, holidays. Now Maurice had pretty much left me alone, at least for a while. But when I turned 9, he started coming after me again, and he wanted more. It was a warm September day. I was outside picking blueberries when he snuck up behind me. It was too late to try to run, and I couldn't see the point in trying to fight him. I just figured if I just went along with whatever he wanted, the sooner it would be over. So this time, I just did whatever he asked. And when he unbuttoned my shorts and pulled them down, I let him. And when he touched me down there, I closed my eyes and I let him. And when he told me to lie down on the ground and spread open my legs, I let him. And when he lowered himself on top of me and forced himself inside of me, I bit my lip to brace myself for the pain that would soon take me to a place that made it all bearable. But still, I let him. And in the months that followed, I would let him again. Felt wrong, but I was confused. I already knew some girls around my age who were doing it already, and they laugh and joke about how this guy and that guy was working it. And I wondered, am I being worked right? But it's kind of the same, right? It's like some guy is touching you. Sometimes it might be inside of you. But I never touched back. I never did anything. I would just lay there, and that used to piss him off. Yeah, you lucky not even fucking with you. But you ugly, your nappy ass here. I could tell you wanted. But I didn't. My body was betraying me and I couldn't make it stop. Sometimes I would get wet down there. I could tell anyone about this. I mean, what kind of girl gets wet like that and then says she doesn't want it? That just sounds stupid. Yeah, I can tell you want it. I can tell. In 1990, the New York Giants was having one of their best seasons ever. They were playing what was called power football, wearing you down. A hard-hitting defense and an offense that could sustain extremely long drives. Power football wins games. Now, a recent study stated that the force of 2 football players colliding is equivalent to a 35-mile-per-hour car crash. And of course, this happens over and over and over again throughout a game. What makes some people able to endure such physical trauma? To seek it out, to find beauty in it even. It goes far beyond being able to take a hit. It's very much a mental game. And for those who can endure, there lies the glory. My body was changing, and getting hit in the chest started hurting much more than it used to. I guess if you're a guy, it might kind of feel like getting kicked in the balls. So I started stuffing my bra with foam core and socks and taping them down with electrical tape. That helped some. And some of the boys that I was playing with before, they were bigger than me now, and their bodies, they were getting harder, and mine was getting softer. And even though I was still bigger and above average height and strength for my age and gender, I still knew that it was just a matter of time before I wouldn't be able to match up physically. It was a simple fact of biology, and I was pissed. Because no matter how hard I trained or got hit, lifted weights, it did not matter. There was nothing I could do to prevent myself from eventually becoming the weakest. that summer, leading up to my 13th birthday, whew, it was a scorcher. Now I finally had some full-size tits and a decent ass, and I was ready to flaunt. In New York summers, they are perfect for that sort of thing, with just gallons of sweat just dripping from every pore. Whew. You have no choice but to wear but the bare minimum. And my father, since they separated him and mother the year before, he was no longer living with us, which meant he couldn't hound me about my clothes anymore. But there was something else. I just had my first period. I was officially a woman now. And nobody could tell me what to do anymore, especially my mother. I mean, how are you going to tell me what to do when I'm capable of creating a life? Young lady, where the hell do you think you're going at 8 o'clock at night on a school night? None of your business, Mom. I can make babies. Okay, so while I knew how to make babies, I hadn't quite figured out how not to make babies yet. But what I did know is if I had sex right after my period, there was a good chance that I wouldn't get pregnant. I read that somewhere. So armed with my superfine body and my newfound womanhood and minimal facts of pregnancy prevention, I was ready to hit the streets and lose my virginity. Well, I mean officially lose my virginity, because I never thought that would happen with Maurice Chacount. A couple years before, my grandmother died, and he finally disappeared. And I don't know what happened to him or where he went, and I never asked.
Let me see you pump them things, shake them, do the brand.
Damn, girl! Woo! Looking good as hell in them damn shorts. Oh yeah. Those would be my hot orange, wedgie-inducing Doodle Brown shorts. And you know, I greased my legs up real good with baby oil. And they had that shiny new car look. You know, something you just want to open up and slide into. Now, I had been checking Kevin out for months. I knew where he came, where he went, who he was on the block, who his friends were, all of that. Now, Kevin was about 3 years older than me, but he was kind of on the small side, so a little insecure. He was what you call the pretty boy. He was light-skinned, had the fine curly hair. Now, that wasn't necessarily my kind of thing, but a lot of girls liked him. And I figured if a lot of girls liked him, then he probably did it with some of them. And if I was going to lose my virginity, I wanted to do it with someone that knew what the hell they were doing. Yeah. So I'm glad you like them. You know, I was thinking about you when I put them on this morning. A word? That must mean I'm going where you going. Yeah, something like that. Why don't we just get some food and go back to the crib? Your grandmother home? Nah, she ain't home. Yes, it was about to go down. So we go down to the corner spot and we get the $3 chicken wing special from the Chinese food store. We go back to the crib. So we get back. I don't say much. I'm just sitting down, eating my chicken wings. And I look around the spot and everything is mad, old, and lifeless. But that does not matter. All that matters is that there is a bed in here and I need to get us up in it. Yeah, so, you still hungry? No, I'm good. I'm tired though. You wanna lie down or something? Word? Yeah. You got a fan or something up in here? It's hot. Nah, it broke last week, but I gotta get a new one. Oh, that's okay. I could just take off some of these clothes or something. Come on. beside me on the bed, and he stares at the new red lace and satin bra that I stole from Woolworths. And I can see his eyes filling with desire. And when I look down, he's already rock hard. And in that moment, I feel powerful. I know I can get him to do or say whatever I want. And I like that feeling. I like being in charge. Turns out sex with Kevin was nothing spectacular. He came, I didn't. He wanted to cuddle after, I wanted to go home. But after that day, he started following me around all the time, which just turned me off even more. Oh, Kevin, why don't you leave me alone? I don't even like you like that. Oh man, no, this ain't right. This ain't right here, what you doing? I'm your first. I'm supposed to be special. Well, even though sex with Kevin was not good, I still wanted to do it again, but just not with him. I wanted to do it with other guys, and I did. Mama, I'm pregnant. You happy about this? Ma, I do not want to have a kid. I got too many things to do. Now, I'm not going to get stuck here like everybody else. Baby, no, you don't have to worry about that. I'll take care of it. You can still, go to school and travel and do all the things you want to. You've always been so bright. Don't worry about it. I'm having an abortion. I already scheduled it. No, Mom, how are you going to take care of a kid? Okay, there's enough money as there is. You're not working. I'm working 35 hours a week in high school. It is not happening. So my mother, she was sad, but she finally accepted that I wasn't going to change my mind. So she promised not to tell anyone and said she wanted to come with me for the procedure. So that Friday, we took a taxi over to the clinic, and of course, all the usual crazies are outside. And someone came out to meet me and took me to the small room and proceeded to ask me a string of annoying questions. Have you thought about other options? Is anyone forcing to do this? Are you sure? Yes. Can we get on with it already? Now, I never felt like it wasn't the right thing for me to do. There were no regrets. But it's still a decision that I hated having to make. So I didn't get any anesthesia because it cost more money, and I didn't have it. So I laid down on the table, and the doctor came over, and he proceeded to tell me what he was going to do and what I should expect. And he also warned me that the procedure might be quite painful, given that I wasn't going to be put under. Well, it's okay, I thought. The pain was reasonable punishment. Being so damn stupid. The pain would remind me of what I'd done so that I wouldn't do it again. The nurse came over and took my hand as I closed my eyes and waited for it to begin. And I felt something cold and sharp being inserted in my vagina. And moments later, it felt like I was being stabbed over and over again. The pain was so great that I couldn't make a sound, but I could feel the warm tears streaming down my cheeks. And a few minutes later, it was over. So a couple of weeks later, my father pulled up to the fence that separated our apartment from the parking lot like he always did. And he never really came in anymore. We would just exchange some words across the fence and then he would leave. For the night that we left for good, we had a fight and I locked myself in the bathroom. And as I tried to jump out the bathroom window and he beat my dangling legs, he finally stopped and just said, "Well, I can't take this anymore." And I said, "Well, we can't take you either." And I could hardly stand either one of them. So that night, I'm standing next to my mother on the fence, and finally she just blurts out, "John! John! She had an abortion!" What? She promised she wasn't gonna tell anybody, especially him. I mean, why was it even any of his business? He hadn't even been living there for the past 3 years. She, had a what? An abortion? So you out here and you spread your legs for this one and that one and you can't even manage not to get yourself pregnant? I am through with you! 3 yards. 3 lousy yards. That's all I picked up now that we're playing this flag football shit. Except, it's not for everybody, it's just for me. Because now that we're bigger and I'm a girl and I can get hurt, they decided that I am supposed to get like this little flimsy belt that goes around your waist with these little bitch-ass flags hanging off the side, and that's it. So you're telling me if I am 1-2 feet away from you, you could just grab the fucking flag and that's supposed to be a down? Hell no! I mean, what is football without contact? You might as well just be playing a game of freeze tag or something. Defense! We're playing defense. Their quarterback Melvin has the ball, and we are running a blitz. And fuck that! I'm hitting him, and I see him there, and there's a hole, and I run through, and I jump on him, and he tries to jump and tuck the ball, but I smack it out of his hand, and it's on the ground, and I jump on it. It's turnover. Yo, what the fuck are you doing? I told you, you cannot play like that anymore. You cannot get hurt. Whatever! Offense! So I'm running the ball, and I have the ball in my hand, and I'm running, and nobody is wanting to touch me. They won't touch me. They're grabbing the flag, and fuck it, I just keep running, and I just start hitting anybody in my way. Yo, I told you, you need to stop. But I don't want to stop. I'm not even running for the end zone anymore. I just keep hitting and hitting and hitting. I have known these guys since I was a little girl, and they always looked out for me. And this was my place, this is my people, and I needed them. What the fuck? What? So you just gonna fucking stand there? Huh? You just gonna stand there? Nobody's gonna fucking touch me! Like I'm just some little bitch or something? Come on! Who's gonna do it? I need to play. Please. Rashid steps up. Run. Run the fucking ball. There's no line and there's no blockers. Just me and Rashid. There's about 10 yards between us. And I'm still pretty fast. He's faster than me now. And I cut to my left. And he stays with me. I cut to my right, and he's still there. And I know it's just a matter of time. This smash. Everything goes cloudy and gray. I'm on my back. I just want to stay a moment, breathe, and feel. Oh shit. Yo, you alright? You alright? I slowly open my eyes and grin. Oh man, come on now. You can't be doing no shit like that. Come on. Yo, she. Thank you. That warm summer night, we laid side by side on a building rooftop. Dozens of stars shining upon us, an offering, a promise of infinite possibilities. One day became 3 or 4. I can't count, I can't speak, no coming up, but air. My breath is with yours, and yours with mine. And I feel more alive than I've ever been. 'Cause we weren't in love, we were making love. Mingling of our minds, bodies, and spirits. Earth-shattering, earth-ending soul connection. Where there can be no shattering without destruction. But to begin again, it was necessary to lay a new foundation. And distant gunshots became fireworks, and when Jimmy wailed, "Have you ever been experienced?" I said, yes! No, never like this. I called you bohemian hood, free, eclectic, street magical. You said I was beautiful, funny, brilliant, weird in all the ways you never knew you needed to know. We were both of this world and so far out of them, nothing to conquer. This was a new kind of power. There was a power of communion, of strength, of freedom, of creativity, of sex, the power of life. It was too powerful for us to control, yet we tried. Why did we do that? We'd never seen it before, we'd never known it, so we couldn't even trust it. And we imploded and exploded again and again. And then you had to go off the next chapter of your journey. 1,000 miles away. As did I, and I added 1,000 more. But now I knew, and I could not forget. How could I ever go back? About a year had passed before my father and I spoke again. He somehow got word that I was receiving an award at school for highest SAT scored and showed up. I was worthy again. Around the time I went to college was when I started meeting people that felt more like me. And I also worked as a project coordinator at a program in Queensbridge Projects. So there was a 10-year-old girl there, Sabrina, who came to me to talk about birth control after she got her first period. And she beamed with pride when she told me she was sleeping with her boyfriend. And she also told me that her first time had been when her cousin and his 2 friends made her have sex with him. It's been a long time since I thought about what Maurice did to me. It's not that I tried not to think about it, I just did. But as she continued to giggle, I could feel this ball of anger and sadness was growing inside of me. It's funny, I was able to feel those things with her, even though I hadn't ever really felt them for myself. Sabrina, you know that wasn't okay, right? That wasn't your first time. They raped you. God, why you gotta make such a big deal about it? It was only that one time anyway. Because it is a big deal. Look at me. You don't need to be ashamed. This is not your burden. This is not your shame. Sabrina's cousin was up north doing a bid for stealing cars, so she didn't really see him anymore. And she told me if I told anyone, she would just say that I was lying anyway. So the best I could do was tell her where to get condoms and birth control. Meanwhile, I was just happy that she wanted to do something to make sure she didn't get pregnant. I was in one of my off-forgiving periods when I met Jake. It had been 6 months since I had had sex, and I just knew that I was in trouble. See, because that's what happens when you go for these long no-sex stretches. it could lead to a manic kind of horniness. So as soon as you meet someone interesting and fuckable, you're bound to explode. And Jake, he smelled like sex. Whew. He just oozed from his pores. And we would talk for hours about all kinds of things, history and science and art and philosophy. And I was excited, but I had to be cool. I could not fuck this guy and fuck it up. But a few minutes or a few weeks later, it happened. And it was hot! And I thought, oh my God, it's not possible that I could actually like someone this much and be attracted to him and be having some of the best sex of my life. What? But a few hours after it happened, I could feel like something was different. Like he was pulling away. Or was he? You know, I have a meeting in the morning, so I'm gonna have to go soon. God, I knew it. Okay, don't freak out. You don't really know yet. Just smile and act like everything is fine. Don't be creepy. Okay. So, can I call you tomorrow so we can make plans? Fuck, I knew it. He was just biding his time to get out of here. And a couple hours ago, I was interesting and unique, and now I'm just a slut again. Yeah, sure. This body, let me out! Fuck! Why can't you stop? Why can't you stop being a slut? He doesn't want you. No one ever wants you. Why can't you stop? I woke up the next morning not really sure what had happened, but I knew that something was severely wrong. My behavior didn't make any logical sense to me. But then I thought, if I could see that something was wrong, then maybe it could be fixed. Maybe it was the thing that was messed up, and not just all of me. Evidence had shown me that I was clearly so much more. I thought back on all the times that I expected to be discarded and treated like garbage. All the times that I felt ashamed simply for fully enjoying and embracing the joys and pleasure of my sexuality and giving and receiving those joys. I thought back to my 7-year-old self and all that she'd been carrying. And I don't want to feel this anymore. This is not her shame. And this is not my burden. I am not dirty. My wholeness cannot be defined by the stains that I did not leave and by the scars that I did not inflict. And I am not a slut. My wholeness cannot be quantified by a number of someone else's choosing in an attempt to shame me, to control me, to extinguish my fire. And I am not a whore. My wholeness cannot be defined by the ways in which I choose to give and receive pleasure. My sexual energy is my spiritual life force. And my juicy sexual appetite is an appetite for life. It's an explosion of my inner being. The awakening, the enlightenment. I don't want to stop. I want to stay here in my body, in the well of my sexual power, because I want me. And if you'd like to leave a review, please look in the program. The website is there. You can go to the link and leave a review if it's favorable. And I will just have to, you gotta get out of here very quickly, so I will definitely come say hello